This legendary incident showed me that the world is truly a place full of demons. In a figurative sense, I'm not saying, but in a literal sense, it's as if demons have descended to earth and are among us in human form, seeming to wander about. In this video, I will not show any images or videos that may disturb you. There are sensitive people among you, but what you will see will be enough. Get straight to the point. I compare Epstein to a zombie fungus. Wait until you hear the reason. Zombie fungi are organisms that release odors to attract prey and are a data trap masters, attracting insects and infecting them. They control their prey's brains. It takes control by capturing it and lifts it to a high point. Then it scatters the spores from its wings again. To reach farther points, it uses this method. After using it, it has no further use for it. In other words, it is like a mechanism that attracts first, then controls and enlarges the network in which it is located. It's an amazing structure that uses. Here, just like here, Epstein attracts people into his network, and someone who planned to control and had been able to do so to many people over the years. His prey was beautiful women, men, and, unfortunately, children. Can a person become a demon? Epstein is the clearest example of this. For now, there is very little in the files. A number of names have emerged, and most of these names are supposedly disguised to protect the victims. But some of these, they said, they knew the names. We will wait for the undisclosed names, but there are very important names among those disclosed. For example, Bill Gates, the Harvard-educated genius. This is very important. Pay attention. Bill Gates' name was mentioned in the files, and the photos they took with Epstein already confirm this. They met many times after 2011. In 2013, Gates visited Epstein on a plane he did. After the moment, he was found guilty and came out with penance.
We know the names. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know.
Divorces his wife, Melinda. The primary reason for Melinda's divorce from her husband is the Epstein factor and Bill's actions on the island, it turns out. Now let's go back a bit. Bill founded what was supposedly one of the largest charitable organizations in 2000. He and Melinda Gates had spent a lot of time and made many donations to it. He even won the Good Samaritan Award in Time magazine. That is, the award for those who show compassion without expecting anything in return. Look, in a file dated 2009, Epstein sends an email to someone named Boris, and the subheading is this: "We'll have fun together."
İlk olarak nüfusa bakalım. Bugün dünyada 6.8 milyar insan var. Bu yakında yaklaşık 9 milyara çıkacak. Yeni aşılar, sağlık hizmetleri ve üreme sağlığı hizmetleri konusunda iyi bir iş çıkarabilirsek, nüfusu belki %10 veya %15 oranında düşürebiliriz.
In 2010, Bill Gates begins warning people about viruses. The world population, he makes speeches in which he defends the necessity of its reduction. Let's look at the population first. There are 6.8 billion people in the world today. This will soon be about 9 billion it will come out. If we do a good job with new vaccines to be present. In the 2015 file, there is an email titled "Preparation for Pandemics Exists," and it says the following: how to involve the World Health Organization and the International Committee about a pandemic simulation. Exactly 2 years later, the pandemic emerges. When there wasn't one, this pandemic. To convince people, the World Health Organization was brought in, and thus the pandemic became official. Faith can be inferred from this. You can imagine the rest. Another person mentioned in the files is Elon Musk. Look, it's interesting how these popular figures can't wait to come to the island. Elon Musk and Epstein first made contact in 2012. Epstein told him about an island connected by black wires to ether. Then he asks if we can electrify a farm in the city and asks for help from her. She throws feed, you see. After this conversation the same year, Elon Musk, Tallulah, and I went to St. I'm going to the bar, and probably you'll be on the island too, right? She says, sort of inviting me to the island. There are dozens of emails like this inviting me to do this, setting a date. Epstein is trying to invite Elon Musk, but Elon Musk also wants to come. He's been looking for an opportunity to do so. So, what did Epstein and others actually gain from all of this? And more importantly, why? This is where things start to get complicated. But first, let's be clear about one thing. Jeffrey Epstein was not a good person. His crimes were exposed, and after 2008, the world knew who he was. Yet, despite this, powerful people continued to associate with him, and that raises a serious question. Why would anyone risk their reputation to stay connected to someone like that? Now let's look at another angle. In 2010, Bill Gates began publicly warning about future pandemics. At the same time, he spoke about global population growth, saying that with better healthcare, vaccines, and planning, population growth could be reduced. Over the years, similar statements continued. Then, in 2015, there are emails discussing pandemic preparation, including cooperation with organizations like the World Health Organization.
I'm collecting stupid little boys. Stupid little boys. You know, the disobedient ones what play hooky from school. Oh. And I takes them to Pleasure Island. Pleasure Island? But the law. Suppose they no risk. They never come back as boys.
Now, back to Epstein. Many analysts believe he wasn't acting alone. Instead, he may have been operating a blackmail network, a system designed to attract powerful people, compromise them, and keep them under control. If that's true, then Epstein wasn't just a criminal. He was a connector of influence.
What a horrible 4 months. Now to warn everybody. Attention, some crazy creeps on an island somewhere are secretly running the world. Hey!
Sorry, old chap, but you're proving quite the caterpillar in our buttermilk.
Huh?
We're shutting you down.
Not a chance.
The pattern matters more than the details. Because once Epstein's crimes were public, any continued association becomes questionable. Not legally, necessarily, but morally. Because being close to someone like Epstein means giving them legitimacy. And legitimacy is power. So, what was the real goal? According to one theory, Epstein and people like him gathered sensitive information on powerful individuals. Secrets, weaknesses, things that could be used as leverage. And with that kind of leverage, you don't need money or weapons. You have control. Now, think bigger. What if systems like this have existed for decades? What if influence has always been built not just on power, but on information? Because history shows us one thing. The people who control information often control everything else. Even in older media, we see strange parallels. In Pinocchio, children are taken to an island where everything seems free, but they never return the same. And in The Simpsons, we often see hidden elites and systems operating behind the scenes. Coincidence or reflection? The idea is simple. For years, powerful individuals may have been influenced through their most private secrets. And if that's true, then decisions at the highest levels might not be as independent as they seem. And this is only part of a much bigger picture. There are still unanswered questions, there are still hidden connections, and there are still pieces missing. I'm continuing to research all of this. If you want the next part, make sure to follow, because this story is far from over.